So then man cannot follow Jesus Christ from one law to other spirit law. This man is dead for God, and it is end of light for this man in his soul. And this visible world never will be destroyed, because it is made by God, and it is a gift from God to man. And God never will destroy this world. And destruction of world is into soul of man, who cannot recognize second coming of Jesus Christ. And how we can avoid this destruction of world in our soul? We need to recognize second coming of Jesus Christ, because then soul of man is dead. Priests can do nothing with him. Um, Holy since spirit is not living in visible temples from bricks. Since the spirit or Christ spirit live in whole and heart of man, and man is a new temple, is a real temple of God. And it is necessary to accept Christ by trust in our heart. And for that, God open third law. This law is law of God, the word. This word is comes through visible man. It's necessary to find visible man in an earth, to accept through him new law of God, the word of life-giving spirit. This life-giving spirit can alive dead soul and return it to God, return it to life. We have to announce and advise everybody what second coming of Christ happened in Russia, because there was a crucifixion. There will be will rise Christ. Um, in Russia in last century was killed Tsar Nikolai. He was visible Christ. He was ruler of Orthodox Church of Orthodox Christians, and after him were killed priests, were killed Christians, millions of Christians who believe to God, and who didn't accept new new power of Bolsheviks and communists, enemies of God. Bolsheviks and communists was based by Lenin. Lenin is a creator of new state, Soviet Union. This is a state. This is an antichrist state, and sources of this state killed millions of absolute true Christians and took them out of their state because this state need to build their law without God, without true, and from 1991 becomes a democracy in Russia. It means completion of spirit death in heart and soul of man. It means death of wishes of God in heart and mind of man. It is end of light in man and of God's light. And but God does not leave this world. He comes by God the Word to make alive man's soul and return it to life forever. And who can hear this God the Word? He can accept life forever and can return to God. And second coming of Jesus Christ happened in Russia. State of democracy is based on a constitution. Constitution is a book of spirit death. It is a result of man mind. But absolute true church is based on gospel, and the gospel is a law from God, and it is based in new church in Russia from Tsar, from Tsar's priests and absolute true Christians based new church, new Jerusalem, which comes from God, from heaven. This is a church of Eon theologian revelation, and God sent his law from visible man who comes from first alive from death by life-giving spirit, and this man explains to his brothers about second coming of Christ to alive every man who wish to be saved by God. What does mean sin? Sin is that man does not know God. And what is democracy? Democracy is a society outside of God's law. And who live in democracy cannot live with God. God does not rule by democracy. So democracy, the future of democracy is destruction and death of death of soul into man, and man becomes live according to animals nature, and man becomes animal. uh, and what is uh, uh, gospel? This is a book of life. This is a book of future life in kingdom of heaven. And man who hear God the word becomes a citizen of a new state of kingdom of heaven, and he becomes free from sin and spiritual death. And this is uh, uh, this is wish of God to call everybody to kingdom of heaven, to make everybody child of God. New Testament consists of gospel messages of apostles and revelation. Four apostles in gospel explain visible word. It is a love of God the Father, and end of this law is crucifixion, and after that opens a new law. It's a love of God the Son, and this law is explained in messages of apostles, and apostle Ioan theologian opens third law it in a book of Revelation. Revelation is book of life forever with God. Who is thirsty to be saved, who can accept God the Word, who can accept life giving spirit, he can reach life forever with God in kingdom of heaven. It's necessary to find absolute true church. It is necessary to find visible men who can explain these law of God, the Word, and who has from who had from God light of third law, and it is written in book of Revelation. All thirsty come and drink, and it is it's said that open book of life and doesn't close, and do not close. And won't be won't be saved, he can find absolute true church of Ellen theologian to be saved and come to life forever with God.